On a little bit later than I thought. My mum's very tired, brought my mum along with me tonight. And it's been nice to spend the evening with my mum because most of the time these days I stay in touch with her on Facebook. Yeah, my parents are pretty cool on Facebook, but a little bit too into Facebook, and it becomes a problem every now and then. Was one day last year when I popped round my mum's house and I could tell she was in a really bad mood with me. I thought, oh Christ, what have I done now? And then suddenly she comes out and she goes, I'd have thought that my own son would have wished me a happy birthday on Facebook. And she was absolutely right. I hadn't wished her a happy birthday on Facebook because the purpose of my visit was to wish her a happy birthday in person. Apparently, though, that wasn't good enough. She said to me, it would have just been nice if you could have done it so all my friends could see. And I just thought to myself, what does she think is happening here? All her friends have got a Facebook under constant surveillance, thinking, Helen's son hasn't wished her happy birthday on Facebook yet. She's obviously failed as a parent. But that's about the worst bit with my mum, but my dad is terrible. My dad's on Facebook all the time, but the problem is he has no idea how Facebook works, and he lands himself in trouble. His main thing is his overuse of the share button, particularly when he shares motivational quotes that are obviously aimed at sort of single women in their 20s. Apparently, much like Marilyn Monroe, if you can't handle dad at his worst, you don't deserve him at his best. There was also the time when Dad tried to change his email address that he registered his Facebook with and ended up setting up an entirely separate second profile before arguing with me for half an hour, saying that he definitely hadn't set up a second profile when there were 2 Trevor Parkers on my Facebook friends list, so he definitely had. But, go on about my parents on Facebook. I'm on it a little bit too much myself, aren't I? And there's my girlfriend there giving me the eyes. She's just shocked that I'm not on my phone for once. So, I love Facebook, but it freaks me out a little bit every now and then because it seems to just know a little bit too much about your life, particularly with the advertising it gives you. It just picks these little separate elements of your life and thinks, I know what he'd love. And in my single days, this was basically, you would take my relationship status and my religion and give me recommendations for CatholicDating.com, which I gather is like Tinder but with added guilt. But single days are behind me now. Recently got engaged. Thank you very much. And the Facebook advertising now is, if you've ever sort of got engaged and your friends and family have lost their mind and trying to involve themselves in the wedding planning, Facebook's worse. Every advert on Facebook at the moment is saying, so, you're getting married. How about a bank loan? Start your matrimony with a load of debt. But the worst one I've had so far is, this is absolutely true. I got an advert on my Facebook for a pair of jogging bottoms which down the length of the leg say sweating for the wedding. I just thought, yes, sweating for the wedding. Here we go. If I wore that to my gym, I wouldn't be so much sweating for the wedding as cruising for a bruising. But the whole getting married thing doesn't really hold any fear for me because I'm the only man in an office full of women. And they all talk as if I'm not there and there's no mystery of womanhood that's remained unsolved as a result of their discussions. But working as the only man in an office full of women, the sanctuary for me was always the men's toilet. I was the only one who used it. If I wanted 10 minutes for a nice relaxing poo, there's going to be no disruptions. That was until we had a call centre move in next door, and suddenly my sanctuary in the toilet was invaded by what can only be described as some young teenage boys in very cheap suits, all of whom weirdly seemed to be named either Lee or Darren. And these lads, basically, I think that they watched The Wolf of Wall Street a couple of years ago and decided that's how I'm going to live my life. And, they've got the kind of obnoxiousness down, but they arrive at work on the bus, so obviously they haven't made it pay as much as Jordan Belfort did. But there's some good things about suddenly having these people in my personal toilet, because sometimes they come in and I'm in the cubicle, they don't know I'm there, and they start giving themselves their motivational pep talks in the mirror. You hear them going, you You're a sales god. You are a sales god. And then suddenly I just burst out the cube and go, yoo-hoo! But the worst thing about suddenly having to share my toilet is the fact that some of Lee or Darren's hygiene habits don't match my own. And sometimes the toilet's left in an appalling mess. And I mentioned guilt before, but I think it might be a Catholic thing, but I feel guilt all the time about the smallest things. I once declared a bag of Fox's Glacier mints when trying to enter America at customs. Your candy's fine, sir. But with the guilt, it's when people leave the toilet in a mess, I'm just worried that if we have visitors to our office and they go to the toilet, they're going to think that's me. And they're going to the door and I'm running after them going, if you find anything in there, it wasn't me. And it just makes me look even more guilty. So I took the strongest possible action available to me. And I made a sign. Polite notice. Please use the toilet brush provided below if and when required. And it worked for a while, and for a small time my toilet was my sanctuary again. Until I went in one day and somebody had made an appalling protest. Somebody had defaced the sign, and beneath my warning, please use the toilet brush provided, somebody had put, but the bristles hurt my bum. And that person became my second office enemy. So I guess I'd better tell you about my first. My first office enemy is the man who fixes the water cooler. And I'll tell you why I dislike this man so much, because he comes in every now and then, sorts out the water cooler, and I can see the way the girls are looking at him. And I'm annoyed because I'm thinking, they've never looked at me like that before. This man is more attractive than me and I find that offensive. And it came to a head one day when they came in and the usual things happening. He's fixing the water cooler, the girls are fluttering their eyelashes at him. I'm already feeling inadequate. And then he walks out the door and one of the girls turns to the other and says, isn't it nice to have a good-looking man in the office for once? I was sitting right there. And on that depressing note, I'll finally leave you to your evening. Thank you very much. Happy Easter and good night.